Branch is doing incline dumbbell presses. The idea here, again, we've already talked a lot throughout this entire series about time under tension, and the idea here is to not only, the problem with the potential problem, bilateral barbell movements, by and large, barbell movements using two limbs are going to be the base of your training, but we have to make sure the potential problem is when that's all you do. If you have one side that's much stronger than the other side, sort of an overcompensation can happen. So here, what the advantage of this movement is not only we're working, each side unilaterally, one side at a time, but we're greatly prolonging the time under tension. His left side is held in extension, and he makes a conscious effort to flex that left pec. So he's not, the right side is doing the dynamic movement, but the left side is still under tension and still purposely flexing that side. So this is one of those deals, you're going to get something out of it no matter what, but if you want to maximally benefit from this movement, you really need to focus on flexing the side that's not pressing dynamically. And Branch is doing a great job of that. So what might take, say it takes 20 seconds to do 8 reps, all of a sudden it takes 40 seconds to do 8 reps this way because you're doing 8 independently each side. So you're handling a pretty similar weight, not as much, but you're literally doubling the time under tension. That's huge, and you're getting a chance to correct and observe any sort of imbalances. And even so, if you have an extreme imbalance, one way to correct that is say your right arm is 15% stronger than your left arm, is you're going to start off with your left arm. Just do this movement one arm at a time, not even holding the other arm in extension. And what you're going to do is you're going to go to failure on your left arm, your weaker arm, then match that amount of reps on the right arm. So you're not completely just only focusing on your left side, but you're going, with maximum intensity on the left side, but still performing the same amount of volume on the right side. Again, what Branch is doing his best to hold his off arm in extension, and he hasn't done much of this before, and that's the idea is, this isn't powerlifting where he has to, bench press a certain amount of weight or anything. Our whole point is to build the muscle up, so we want to have some familiarity with the movements where it's not so bizarre that you can't, if all you've ever done your whole life is bench press and you do 500 pounds and you totally introduce some new bizarre type like chest exercise where you're more concerned about doing the actual movement with correctly than actually being able to do it intensely. That's going to be a problem in when you're trying to get extreme amounts of muscle growth. But you also don't want to get where you're so familiar with the movement that you're not, if all you do is the same thing over and over, time in, time out, you're never really overloading the muscle because you're going to adapt to it. Think about it in terms of if you're a runner, if you run 3 miles every day in 18 minutes, it's probably really hard to initially get to that point. But if you're doing that for 5 years straight, it's probably pretty easy and you're not making a whole lot of adaptations at the same time. Muscle building is the same way. If you do the same thing day in, day out, time in, time out, the only way, the only way your muscle is going to really grow is with some kind of, extreme change in dietary or supplementation strategies, but with, focusing on your diet and your supplements, and then really breaking the muscle down from different angles, not doing the same thing over and over. That's when you're really going to get the extreme growth. So the idea is to be somewhat familiar with the movement so you can perform them with maximum intensity and not make it, a game-changing thing with just technique, but to keep it, change things up so your body doesn't totally adapt.